3.4, graphing functions. I have negative 2x plus 2y equals 6, and I have d is the set of numbers negative 4, negative 2, 0, 2, and 4. What does d stand for? Domain. D is my domain, and the domain is my what values? X values. Now, in order to do these are all of my x values. So I have to put all of these in to find out my y's. But if I put in the negative 4 for x, I have negative negative 4, which means positive 4, and then I need to subtract the 4, and then divide by 2. But the thing, I'm going to have to do this for every single one. Every single one I'm going to have to do work. So the best thing to do is, before I start substituting in, is to rearrange so it's y equals. To rearrange so it's y equals, what has to be moved first? How do I move that negative x? Add x. So I add x here, add x here. 2y equals x plus 6. Because x and 6 have nothing in common, I can't put them together. When I smooth the x over, the x and the 6 have nothing in common. Now what do I need to do to solve for the y? Divide everything here by 2. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. Y equals, now this x over 2, what's another way I can think of it? What number's really here? 1. So it's really 1/2 x plus, what's 6 divided by 2? 3. By me rearranging it so it's y equals, now all I have to do is substitute in. I'm going to make a table, or a t-chart. These are going to be my x values. These are going to be my y values. We're already given the domain. Negative 4, negative 2, 0, and 2. Now I need to go in and substitute each one of those. So I'm going to take this negative 4 and put it into this function. So what I'm really doing, I'll use this little scratch area. 1/2 times negative 4 plus 3. What's half of negative 4? Negative 2. What's negative 2 plus 3? 1. Signs are different, so you have to subtract, take the sign of the bigger number. So when x is negative 4, y is 1. I'm going to do the same thing now for negative 2. What's half of negative 2? Negative 1. What's negative 1 plus 3? 2. Now I'm going to substitute in 0. What's half of 0? 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. And now I substitute in 2. What's half of 2? 1. And what's 1 plus 3? 4. Now you notice all these numbers were nice and neat, and they went in, could be cut by half. They don't have to be nice, neat numbers. If you get a fraction as an answer, that is fine. Now we're going to graph it. Which direction does my x-axis go? Across, which is left and right. My y values go up and down. So what this means Negative 4, 1. Negative 4 is which direction? To the left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 1. That is negative 4, 1. Negative 2, 2 means to the left 2, up 2. 0, 3 means I stay right here and go up 3. And 2, 4 means from the center I move to the right 2, up 4, and put my dot. There's my graph. For this one, I have f of x equals 3/4 x minus 3. I have the domain of negative 8, negative 4, 0, 4, and 8. First thing I did was I set up the t-chart. X on the one side, f of x on the other side. What do I put down here? Negative 8, negative 4, 0, 4, and 8. I put the numbers that I'm given. How do I find these numbers? Put the domains into the function. So I'm going to put negative 8 in for x. 3/4 times negative 8. So I'm going to do this. This is in my head. This is my bubble work. 3/4 times negative 8. This is actually negative 8 over 1. What goes into both 4 and 8? Think bigger. 4. How many times 4 go into 4? How many times 4 go into 8? 2. 3 times 2 is 6. I have 1 negative, so it's negative 6 over 1, which is negative 6. To do it the other way would be 3 times 8 is 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. Divided by 4 is negative 6. Both ways still get the same answer. Now I'm going to take this part, then I need to subtract 3. What's negative 6 and negative 3? So this one here is negative 9. Put in the next one. 3/4 times negative 4. 3/4 times negative 4 is 3/4 times by negative 4, negative 3. What's a negative 3 and a negative 3? Negative 6. Now, I know some of you are grabbing a calculator. That's fine. Just make sure you're typing it in correctly. 3/4 times by negative 4. If you use the minus, it's going to give you an error. What's 0 times 3/4? 0. What's 0 minus 3? Negative 3. Now, what's the difference between this one and this one? One's negative, one's positive. So, instead of being negative 1, this one's going to be positive 1. What's 1 minus 3? What's a 1 and a negative 2? Or sorry, 1 and a negative 3? I already said the answer is negative 2. 3/4 times 8. Yeah, wait. Yeah, wait a minute. It's 0. Because this is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. 8 times 3/4 is 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. Here's my points. Now I have to graph. Negative 8, negative 9 means to the left 8, down 9. Negative 4, negative 6. To the left 4. Down 6. 0, negative 3. Stays in the center. Down 3. 4, 0. Over 4. Stays there. And the last one, 8, 3. To the right 8. Up 3. That's your graph. Now I have f of x equals the absolute value of x minus 4. You have to remember the lines straight up and down mean absolute value. What's different with this graph or this problem and the previous problem? This one's not telling you the domain. The great thing about these ones is I can pick any numbers I want. Now, usually when we do these and you just pick them out, I want to do some negative numbers, I want to do 0, and I want to do some positive numbers. That way I see a little bit of everything. Doesn't matter if they're in order, evenly spaced, whatever. The only thing, if they're evenly spaced, it looks a little bit neater. Give me a negative number. Negative 5. Negative 3. Give me another one. Negative 2. There's 3 here. I'll put 0. Now, just to make it the same, I'll use the same points, but I don't have to. 2, 3, 5. Now I'm going to substitute each one of these in. I usually prefer 2 before, 2 after 0, and including 0. So I want 5 numbers. I did the 7 here just so you saw fully what it's doing. Substitute in. What's the absolute value of negative 5? 5. What's absolute value do? Makes everything a positive. So absolute value of negative 5 is 5. 5 minus 4 is 1. Negative and a minus mean the same thing. Absolute value of negative 3. 3. 3 minus 4. Negative 1. What's the absolute value of negative 2? 2. What's 2 minus 4? Negative 2. Absolute value of 0? 0. 0 minus 4? Negative 4. Absolute value of 2? 2. 2 minus 4 is? 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Absolute value of 3? 3. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Absolute value of 5? 5. 5 minus 4 is 1. I want you to graph these points. Graph. When we graph it, it looks like a V. Negative 5, 1 means to the left 5, up 1. Negative 3, 1, or sorry, negative 3, negative 1 means to the left 3, down 1. Negative 2, negative 2, to the left 2, down 2. 0, negative 4. 2, negative 2. 3, negative 1. And 5, 1. It looks like a V. And all of the absolute value graphs look like V's. Questions?